Done about fixing our crumbling streets?
Takes money, and there's been a lot of mismanagement. I don't know who to blame. I would love to be able to blame somebody, but whoever gets to be mayor is going to inherit this mess with the new city council. And it is a mess. 4 years ago, we had at least a $300,000 surplus, and as of the books through like February or March of 2019, we were more than $600,000 in the hole. So it's hard to fix streets when you've mismanaged money. For instance, $300,000 went to settle the lawsuit with lawyers, legal fees over the people arguing over the virtual water bills. They spent a couple $1 million with everything considered for the wireless water meters. Let's see, there was about $1 million spent on computer software systems, 3 different systems. First one, probably over $500,000 was spent, and it never worked right. Then they got a second one, then they got a third one, and this third one doesn't even work right. And I'm just beside myself that they hired a person that was, in my mind, incompetent. I don't know how she got hired and got through city council, but she did, and she was there, and now this is what we're left to deal with. So you've got to vote, and you've got to use that vote, and I suggest that you use your vote wisely, because we can't afford another administration like what's been in there before. So as far as the streets, it takes money. I'm all for. There's 2 ways to get money. One is to cut back on your expenses. The second is to raise revenue. People have talked about a sales tax. I disagree with that. I think I would much rather have the property tax. I'm sorry. They want to do, actually some want to do both, the property tax and the sales tax. I like the sales tax, and we still have more than 3/4 of a cent that we can raise the sales tax. Do we have to do that? I don't know yet, but I think that's a possibility, and raising that sales tax will net us $800,000. I think the streets and the sewers, like Trevor mentioned, are priority. But you don't fix the street, and then 2 months later, you got to tear it up to put the sewer in. So I agree with what Trevor said, and we got to make it a priority. That's all there is to it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We already have a transportation fund at the moment. Right now, the transportation fund is, and I'm not sure the percentages, but part of it goes to streets, part of it goes to the airport. In that fund, right now, I believe this year there's $147,000 going towards new streets. We have to make a plan. We have to go through and find our worst streets, the ones that have sewers underneath that need to be replaced. We need to do that before we fix the streets, instead of making holes in brand new streets. They're looking at some grants right now too, and I think that's always a great possibility to look at grants to try to get more money, more streets for your money. And it's a problem that's not going to go away overnight. It's going to be a long-term process that we've got to go through, and we've got to say, okay, this year we can do this many streets. Where are our most traveled streets? We need to do those first, and then go from there. The other opportunity is Eldon's based on sales tax. We get more businesses. If we can get more businesses and more traffic downtown, possibly. Then we have more money for streets. Then we can go from there. Those are my ideas at the moment.
Can I have a 30-second rebuttal thing? Actually, I want to rebut his favor. Trevor mentioned about fixing streets. Part of and the sewers. Part of the sewers isn't necessarily replacing sewer pipes. Some do need to be replaced. But he mentioned earlier about lining. Lining is like 15% of the cost. You put a liner in the existing store, and it's like plastic, and it will last forever unless it crunches, and it adds stability. So,
Yep.
I like what he said.